guys, right here, your coffee coach. I'm here with Leon from La Pavoni, and he's going to take us through some of the home range because La Pavoni's been around since 1905, but now you've come on to take it on and tell us a bit about the history since you've, since Smeg has taken it to new heights and reinvigorated the brand.
Yeah, 100%. So Smeg is a cooking brand from northern Italy that's been established since 1948. It's a third-generation family-owned business still today.
Right.
It's very similar to La Pavoni, which was a family-owned business that went through a few generations of change. However, the latest generation of the Pavoni family really wanted to move it to somebody who had the, I suppose, backing and support to really bring the brand back to life. And in 2019, Smeg acquired La Pavoni globally. With that, we also acquired Isomac brand. So La Pavoni being the premium offering in that handmade in Italy coffee machine space really was an opportunity for us to really enter back into the semi-professional and professional market with that authentic 1905 heritage and style where both brands love partnering with architects and designers to bring products like the Diamante, the lever machine, that are real icons in the coffee industry. Similar to Smeg, where they have fab retro refrigerators, which are icons to the home domestic cooking and kitchen space. So there was a lot of similarities, a lot of things that really brought the two brands together. And for us, it was a no-brainer to really re-establish the brand in the Australian market. And here we are today at our first major exhibition on coffee only. We were here just 2 weeks ago with the Fine Food Australia show, really showcasing our catering equipment for Smeg and our La Pavoni professional machines. So why not be here today and showcase all of our coffee products?
Oh, it's great to see you guys here, and obviously the lever machine is very iconic in La Pavoni, but we're here to talk about some of the home user machines, the espresso machines. If you don't want a fully manual machine, you can have a look at some of these semi-automatics.
Yeah, 100%. So I mean, if you look at some of our semi-commercial domestic units, we start here with our Cilindro Classic. It's a single boiler with heat exchanger. Here we're working with a vibrating pump. So it's a real entry point model into the market. In Australia, it retails for around $29.90, so it's an achievable price point for most users who want to step up their game from those thermoblock systems that you see day to day in the retail space. You know, those products really range from about $500 to $1,500. Here, customers can get a cafe experience at home. Now, if they want to obviously do more than one shot and want to steam and full coffee brew at the same time, we start to step up in the range. So here we have our Cilindro Evoluzione. This one here has the single boiler with heat exchange. However, it's running with a rotary pump like the commercial machines. So it's able to do far more in a much more quieter, more efficient way. From these beautiful little Cilindro units, we then move up into our Botticelli. Some people may know this particular unit's shape and style from a few other brands out there in the market. It's not commonly known as the Giotto. Before we acquired the brand, it was also called the Giotto, but to create a point of difference, we renamed it as the Botticelli. Here we have a dual boiler, dual PID. You essentially have full, I suppose, operation of either having a plumbed or tank. Then you can obviously customize your temperatures based on your roast, based on your extraction and what you're looking to customize. Really E61 group, still handmade in Milan, all models, using premium components. So 3 or 4 grade stainless steel, copper boilers, brass group heads, really so that you've got that perfect heat exchange throughout the unit there. So as we step up in the range, we went from $29.90 to $34.90. Here we're looking at $41.90 for a dual boiler. And then there's only one model above this in the semi-pro range, which is our Botticelli dual boiler. We call this the GEG. This one here has a pressure profiling tool as well. Okay, so those people at home who want to really play around with the extraction, they want to play around with starting at a lower pressure extraction, then ramping it up at the end to get different flavor profiles throughout the different blends that we're playing with. This one here is for somebody who's a little bit more serious about their home coffee. But I mean, you know, a coffee machine is only as good as the grinder that you play with. Recently we brought a new grinder out to the market. We call this the Cilindro. The Cilindro here, essentially what you're looking at is a base unit built by Eureka. However, like traditional La Pavoni and Smeg, we've partnered with Deep Design in Milan, a design firm that does all of the Smeg small appliance range, the 50 style. We partner with them to really bring a unique casing and matching product to our range. which also brought the sound down on the grinder. So it's one of those grinders that you can turn on at 5 o'clock in the morning and not wake up the whole household, which is really ideal for that first coffee before you leave for the day. So it's a real great partner to any of our semi-professional or even lever machines. Something like that retails for $9.90.
Right.
So quite a good price point.
Yep.
With that sound deadening system that we have built in, it really shows a huge benefit to the home user. So it's a lovely piece of kit, dialed in on time. So you can always get that perfect setup. There's no guesswork when you come to putting the coffee in the basket. From there, obviously one of the icons of the La Pavoni range is the lever machine. So this particular lever machine we have on show today is the Expo 2015. This particular unit was designed for a competition in Milan. So what we tried to do here was take the best of all of our lever machines. So we have a Stradivari base, so it doesn't have the traditional professional base. It's called a Stradivari because of the shape of it is like the violin. With that, we brought all of our gold features from some of our more professional gold units and started to bring the Stradivari group with the professional boiler. We have the pressure gauge for the steam, for the boiler itself. Here it comes with a naked basket, also comes with a double spout basket as well. So if you wanted to make one beautiful extraction or 2 cups at the same time, you've got that flexibility. The difference here between the semi-pros and the levers is semi-pro works with an E61 58mm basket. Here we're using a 51mm basket. So smaller dosing, however, it allows us to pressure profile under our own hand.
Yeah.
So there's the real artisanship in making a coffee with a lever machine like this. However, it's not the top of the range. There's a lot of things that you see. We have a lot of followers on Facebook. We have a lot of followers on YouTube. Facebook today we're sitting at over 13,000 followers of lever machine fanatics. Now, if you were ever to buy a lever machine and you couldn't get through to us to answer a question, you could drop it on the Facebook page and within about a minute, you'd probably have about 25 different answers on what the best process or change would be to your preparation method. So, yeah, it's really exciting to work with a brand with such heritage, but then have the ability to work in product development directly with the factory and keep bringing improvements to the market so that the experience gets better and better for the end user. The Expo 2015, so this is not the entry point. We have Europicolas below that. This would be, let's say, almost top of the range.
Yep.
But we did bring some additional lever machines with us, which are our top of the range, that have all the bells and whistles that most people modify their lever machine to get to. So some of the mods on this top of the range product that most people will love to have is an actual pressure profile gauge. So this is called the Esperto Dotto. This particular unit is the top of the range, so it features a copper boiler, gold group head, gold baskets, and the beautiful gold eagle on top. The real point here is we've got a professional copper boiler. We have our naked basket, also comes with a dual spout. The benefit of obviously having the gauge for the boiler pressure, but then the gauge for extraction. So no more guesswork just on what you're feeling in your hand, but what you're seeing on the gauge. So if you wanted to start at a 4 bar pressure, work it up to a 6, then to an 8 for your full extraction. Depending on the roast, obviously you can pull out different acidities, different flavors, so that you can really customize what you're drinking in the cup. So it's something that's really interesting because there's so much personalization out there that if you went straight to the top of the range, you'd cut out a lot of cost for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, a unit like this would retail for around about $27.90 versus $19.90 of the Expo 2015. Now, a pressure gauge system like this where you have to replace the whole piston is around $500 upgrade, okay? But here you're also getting the copper boiler, you're getting the gold group, you've got the beautiful turned timber with beautiful hand features on top of that, still handmade. The other advantage that we've got on units like this, also on the Expo, is the fact that you can still texture milk with your lever machine, which is what a lot of people think, oh, it's just an espresso machine. But no, you can do your lattes, you can do your cappuccinos, your macchiatos. It's definitely something that once you've pulled your shot, that pressure will build back up. We can then undo the steam valve and we can texture our milk on the side of the unit there. So the difference between the pressure you get out of this steam wand and a semi-professional is the fact that it's a more gentle steaming process. So it does take a little bit longer, but you don't get that instant burst of steam. You work the milk with the steam at the level that you want. And obviously in this range, being the top of the range, you can't just go with one color spectrum. We also have the Esperto Abile. The Abile is a full 304 stainless with chrome finishing. This particular unit has the Stradivari base and the Stradivari group versus the Adotto and the Competente, which comes in gold, which has the professional group on the front of it. So these are real icons, real pieces that people really strive to have at home, because it's not just a beautiful coffee machine. It's literally something that people walk in and go, wow, that's a piece of art. That's something I can have on my shelf. And even if I used it once a month, I'd still love looking at it every time I walk in the room.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just an amazing brand to have acquired, to reinvest in, to bring back to life, and to really showcase a piece of history in the modern day.
And I love this little addition with the temperature gauge on the group head,
Definitely.
so that you can see where your temperature is at.
Yeah, exactly. So what you don't want to do is overheat the group head. You know, the minute we start overheating, we start changing the profile and we start to burn the coffee. So really, you can see it as we preheat the machine, how the group's coming. If we want to add more heat, we can flush some water through it. Ideally, we want to get it to around 85 to 95, depending on obviously the roast type that we're trying to extract at. Obviously, different levels of temperature will change the level of flavour that comes through as well. So yeah, no, these are an amazing machine. I literally have one of these at home that I use once a weekend. My wife says, "Why do you have so many coffee machines?" Or how could you not love coffee machines? Once you've had one, you will never turn back.
So I'm interested to understand why you went with the 51 mil group heads over the 58. Is there a particular reason for that in terms of heating up?
Yeah, look, the 51 mil was something that was introduced in 1956, and to keep the authenticity and the variation between a semi-pro and a lever, obviously if you look at the overall size of the lever machine, if you were to put a 58 on there, it would throw out the whole design.
Yeah.
You would end up with a big bulky group head on the front, and you wouldn't have the beautiful look around it because it would overtake the whole unit. So the 51, it's quite common in domestic cheaper end units. However, they use pressurized baskets. Here you're using naked baskets, using true portafilters like in your professional machines. So you're really extracting under the correct, I suppose, dynamic of what the coffee needs to come through.
And that's great to hear. So they've kept in tradition with that. Now, obviously, it is an investment when you go into a group size that's not your standard 58. So does Le Pavoni offer all of the accessories that allow them to use that as well?
Asked. Yeah, definitely. So what we have done is we've created a range of accessories to complement these machines. So coffee distributors, tamp mats. You know, we've really gone into making sure that all of those accessories are there. There's always going to be a lot of aftermarket products out there on the market that you can get, but we've tried to focus on quality. So, you know, we do have them here. We've actually sold quite a few of them this week. We've had lever machine owners come in and say, "I can't quite find the right distributor. I can't quite find the right tamp. Have you got one?" We're like, well, yes, we've actually brought them here so that people can access them at the show, but through all of our dealer network that also stock them now as well.
So they're easy to get if you need to replace your group seals or the screens or the baskets or anything like that. They can come to you online and they can purchase it through the online store.
Yeah, 100%. So we do have a current website, but it's going through an overhaul at the moment. So in late November, we'll have a brand new web platform. We'll have an e-shop with all parts and machines available on there. We will sell direct, however, we'll maintain our RRP. So we'll maintain our price points so that our competitors still have a chance to play in the market. Obviously, people need choice. And choice is really important when people want to shop around. They may have a coffee shop that perhaps they've gone and bought machines from over many years. They've got a great relationship. Those customers will love to go back to those stores, so it's accessible to most people.
And obviously, Smeg are a widely known brand here in Australia as well, and they're in a lot of the Harvey Normans and places that you can purchase in easily. Are we going to see then La Pavoni maybe entering into that market space so that it's more accessible for the home user that doesn't have to go with an appliance machine?
Definitely. So we have already launched into a handful of stores. So we were very cautious about it at the beginning because it's a very specialty market. So selling a dual boiler into a store that's used to selling thermoblock systems, you know, a set and forget, a bean to cup machine, these are nothing like that. So there's a lot of education required. So what we did was we analysed the market. We spoke to the buyers that are out there at Harvey Norman, the Good Guys, all those types of stores. We selected to go into 15 Harvey Norman stores nationally. Now they have over 200 stores. Okay, we're talking about the top stores within their group that have the ability to sell. So what we've done is invested in training the staff. We have in-store demonstrators every weekend to showcase the products. We don't demonstrate the levers in those stores, but we demonstrate the semi-pros. It's more to that demographic of customer. However, most of our lever machines are still sold through the specialty chains because most of them offer demonstrations and they understand the technical feedback of the product and can support the customer post-purchase as well.
And I hope that they're also training them on purchasing the grinder, because I know from my experience, from a lot of customers coming to me with asking for ground coffee, and I explain every single time, you need to get a grinder, because a lot of these appliance stores just will sell you the all-in-one unit with the grinder in it, or they'll just sell you the machine and then leave you without a grinder. And, you know, if you want to take coffee to the next level and even get close to what a cafe does, you need to freshly grind. And
100%.
so I hope that part of the education system is
Most
to include
definitely.
your...
Yeah, no, since we launched the new Cilindro grinder, it's been a real focus. Well, what we try to do is sell the grinder first.
Yeah.
If you don't sell them with the grinder, and we experienced this in the very early days of launching into the retail market, was people would buy a lever machine because it's beautiful, it's lovely. They go home, and as you say, they go to their local coffee store.
Yeah.
Oh, could I get a bag of pre-ground
Yeah.
coffee for my espresso machine? They come home, they open the lever, and there's just water gushing out. And, you know, they say, oh, well, the coffee, I get no crema, I don't get any pressure. So because you're not grinding fine enough, you don't have a fresh bean. That's all part of the process and definitely part of the education piece.
That's great. Great to hear that the education process is there as well. Thanks so much for talking with us, Leon.
No, thank you for coming on the stand.
That's Leon from La Pavoni. I'm Ride, your coffee coach, and as always, enjoy your brew.